Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the It's Just Dinner podcast. I'm your host, Tom Robinson, and sitting right across from me, my good friend and co-host, Bob Walz.
Tom, you look great. You look like you just got off the golf course.
I did. I just got off the golf course.
Oh, yeah. What a life.
Did not play well. Did not play well.
Glad to have you here.
And we're not going to talk about that.
Okay, well, let's avoid that.
Hey, we have two great guests.
Yes, I've just been meeting them. It's delightful to have them here with us.
And these guys are from the Divine Comedy here at BYU. So great. I have in my hand Kim's bio.
Oh, great.
And I would love to read this to you.
Okay.
And then I have Jason's bio.
Oh, this is very formal.
And so I thought it would be fun
to
get that. So they sent these in to me so we can get to know them a little bit.
Great.
So this is Kim Willie, a member of the Divine Comedy. And by day, she says she's a paleontologist.
She says that.
That's what she says.
But is it true?
Well, we're about to find out.
Okay.
Now, she's been known to quote Shakespeare verse while holding an ankylosaurus skull. And I actually saw her. Were you doing the to be or not to be?
Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well.
Oh, lovely. Now, unlike Jason, Kim is currently on the market.
On the market?
On the dating market.
Oh, okay, on the dating market.
Still out there and available.
Market. Okay.
It's and what she claims it's the reason why she's here today. So we will put a plug in for the boys to contact her.
Okay. Well, could you want to give us your cell phone number just right now?
She told us that her ideal date is a cross between Percy Jackson and a golden retriever.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we can.
Percy Jackson with long flowing blonde hair.
Oh.
Beautiful, like Fabio.
Okay, well, I've got a mental picture in my mind. If I see that guy walking across campus, I know right where to send him.
Her perfect date would be going to the planetarium or the carnival. In her free time, Kim can be found singing old-fashioned barbershop or beating the high score on Webkin's smoothie moves, which I don't know what that is. So my producer Avery was trying to explain it to me earlier.
We'll get a tutorial on TikTok.
Now, Kim claims she's unqualified to talk about dating, but she enjoys the occasional flirty wave from across the room.
Oh, well, that's how it starts.
That's all how it starts. Yeah. Now, Jason, on my far right,
yes,
he's also in Divine Comedy by night, but during the day, he's also in Divine Comedy.
Oh, so your night job is Divine Comedy and your day job is Divine Comedy.
Yeah, it's unpaid. It's like an unpaid internship.
Unpaid internship.
Well, during the night and during the day it's unpaid?
And he is an advertising major.
Oh, terrific. I heard that Moses was an advertising major.
I
he,
thought those.
He is one of the chosen ones.
Okay.
But he says his dream job would be writing for a TV show rather than just the ads in between the shows.
Oh, there you go.
So
yes, that's
his ideal woman is his wife.
Oh, well, that's good to say.
Yeah.
That's good. And how long have you been married?
Just over a year now.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
Wow.
He enjoys cartoons, camping, and playing with his foster bunnies.
Foster bunnies.
I have no idea.
Is that another video game?
It sounds like another video game that they are playing.
Good.
So welcome, you guys.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Tell us about Divine Comedy, will you, really quick, and what that is and how you got involved with it. I know what it is, but tell us how you got. Tell everyone else out there what it is.
All right. It's a sketch comedy group, kind of like SNL, or I guess Studio C is more accurate. A long time ago, the people in Divine Comedy graduated, so they couldn't be a part of Divine Comedy, and then they started Studio C. And yep, we just write sketch comedy and perform, and sometimes improv, but not really.
Do you
at random events we'll do improv.
And where do you come a little closer to your mic? Where do you perform at?
We perform at the Tanner Building. And
here on campus.
Yes.
So
yes,
you're
right
a campus club.
We are technically a class.
A class.
For now.
Oh, okay.
The class clowns.
In which?
Within TMA.
Within TMA. So they actually have a comedy class that you, and so you study comedy as part of the class.
Sort of.
Sort of.
There's a separate comedy writing class that's open to everybody.
And I've taken it. We've both taken it, right?
I've taken it a few times.
Yeah. Huh.
And then for Divine Comedy itself, there's auditions, and then we get an ad code. That's mostly just to help us get credit so that we can like devote as much time to it as we do.
So it can be your
That's,
full-time job and not
it's-
get paid
Oh,
That's
yes.
sneaky.
Yeah.
It's so much work,
Sneaky.
but very, very worth
But
it.
I'm sure it's got to be fun to
Yeah.
do that.
Like-
And so you audition, and if you're accepted, then you get in the class so that you get credit for being part of the Divine Comedy Club, troupe, team, whatever you cast.
Yeah.
Cast is what you call it.
It's a sketch comedy troupe, but yeah, we call it cast, I guess.
Now, did you guys just have a show here recently, or are you going to have one?
We just finished our Batman.
Oh, the Batman
Show.
one, yes.
So
The
we
Batman
do
show.
6 shows every school year,
Uh-huh.
3 each semester.
And you perform those on campus in the Tanner building, and they sell tickets for it. It's free or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
$5.
Really? Wow.
And
Yep. And we throw glow sticks. I've got a glow stick on today. I have loud music, and it's just a party. So
Wow.
worth every penny.
We've
It is
started
worth.
selling
It is
out
worth
shows.
every penny.
You've
Yeah.
been. You've
Yes,
been
I
to.
have.
Yes, you have.
Yep.
Wow. Fascinating. Well, that's fantastic. And so, how many people are a part of the troupe or the class? How many?
There's 11. Well, I guess we just had some people leave, and the number like fluctuates, but generally like
Yeah.
9 to 11 or 12.
11 or 12.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I've always noticed this, and you can confirm or deny this, but I found that generally some of the funniest people I know are shy people. They're not really extroverts.
Most people on Divine Comedy are introverts.
Yeah,
It's not always like that. It's just kind of the cards fell this year, but
And so why we had the psychiatrist here before. I need this. Why is it that people are? You'd think that people who are funny would be the extrovert people. Why is it? Why do you think it's the other way? Why are shy people the ones who seem to excel in comedy?
Well, it's the one way I think we all learned to communicate with other people and reach out and make
Just
friends.
being funny,
If
right?
you can be funny, then you can be well known.
That's why I'm an introvert.
Is that why?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I'm funny.
well, that's true. Tom is very funny. He looks a little like Steve Martin, doesn't he?
yeah.
If you look just
can see
right,
it.
you see Steve Martin.
Get
right in there,
confused
yeah.
for him all the time.
You can see him with an arrow, going through his head or something. He'd be Steve Martin funny.
Do you have anything to say about it?
I think part of it might be confirmation bias. Like you meet someone who's really quiet, and then they say something really just out of the blue, super funny, and it's more of like an impact than someone who's noisy.
Who's talking all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unexpected.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good. Well, the premise of our show, as you may or may not know, is getting people to go out to dinner to date. And so you've been here involved with BYU's campus for a number of years and with the LDS dating culture. Does that topic ever come up in your comedy sketches?
Oh, of course.
Huh.
Sometimes,
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that?
Yeah. It's sometimes we, I don't know, we worry that maybe that's like not really low-hanging fruit, but just that it's been done so much. But
Yeah.
there's always new angles.
But it works.
Our
It
audience
works.
has always loved
Go
it.
with what works.
I think about a third of our sketches at least mention dating or mutual or whatever. I just wrote a sketch this year about chick magnets.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Give us a
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
What was the sketch about chick magnets?
Well, it's chick magnets and
Yeah.
stud finders. So
Oh.
the stud finder is where you find studs on the wall, but this girl gets a stud finder and she uses it to find a cute guy.
Oh, well,
And-
not about, we
Yeah.
suggest that.
Yeah. Put it up to their head. It goes beep, 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 beep. Okay. And then it will tell them why he's not a good guy to date or he's already taken.
If we only
or
had
something.
such a thing, right?
Yeah.
Wow. It would be great if you had it. Yeah. And so I'm assuming that the audience reaction to this is rather robust because it is something that most of them can relate to. The dysfunctional nature of dating, it's pathetic, really, but yet people laugh at their, and I guess laughing at ourselves.
Love to
is-
laugh at
Your
ourselves.
only
right.
choice is to cry.
Yeah. And that wouldn't be Divine Comedy. You'd have to change the name to Divine Crying.
Divine tragedy.
Yeah,
It's a tragedy,
Divine
yes.
tragedy. It would be entertaining too, but you wouldn't pay $5 to go see that. I don't think.
Maybe
I
if they
would.
paid me $5.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If they pay, say we can just do the opposite. If you come, we'll give you $5 to depress you.
Misery loves company. We got to get you in here. Let's-
Yeah. You
Good.
pay $5, you go on stage, you cry a little bit.
Yeah.
They're there and you're out.
I like this idea. I think we got a
Therapy.
nice.
I have a future.
This
in
is a new
so.
innovation we can see.
Yeah.
That's good. And so, even though it's overdone, you still say you find new angles. What are some of the new angles that you've seen recently that are funny about our dating culture?
And you can't say everything, so.
Yeah. I think it's not so much like new things. Like, I mean, I'm sure that the culture shifts over time, but like as long as one person's at BYU, like we're only here for so long, so we probably don't see too much change. But it's more like, I guess like new takes on dating apps, and maybe it's. I mean, they say nothing in comedy is new. Like everything has been every joke's
before.
been made already. So you just gotta put your personal spin on it from your personal experiences. Now this is more about comedy than dating, but most of for all you can do with comedy is like bring your own personal truth to and add your perspective. So
Yeah, every relationship's going to be different, so you can have the same dating experience and have wildly different takeaways.
That's true.
I guess that is common. You know, I was just thinking back in my day here at BYU, the big joke was
When Brigham Young was here?
yes, when Brigham and I were roommates. The people would say, "Oh, she's here to get her MRS degree."
Oh.
You know, so that was the big joke back in the 70s and 80s, but that's kind of disappeared.
Has a
Because
little
that
bit.
culture has changed so much about, and I think it's because of the advancements of women in the workplace,
Right.
that before it was just women would come here to find a husband and be stay-at-home moms, and now women are more advancing their own careers. And so that joke probably doesn't go, if you got up in Divine Comedy and said, "Oh, she's just here to get her MRS degree," it would probably,
yeah,
it wouldn't get a laughter because
we'd probably
nobody
get in
knows.
trouble for that one. Like
Yeah,
that's,
I would say that's
Yeah.
that wouldn't fly anymore.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I guess
So
comedy
don't
does,
say that.
I guess comedy does. Well, that was commonly said back in the 70s and 80s. It's history. It's, you know, I'm not insulting everyone, but that
Right,
was
right.
the culture. Well, that was what we made fun of
Right.
in the culture back at that time. So
What are some of the things you still make fun of? I'm just curious as to what has come up in the past.
I think a pretty common theme that we try not to like dwell too much on it because everyone says it all the time is just like how fast relationships go sometimes, like from meeting them to engaged to married. That's pretty common, I think.
I'd also say awkward RMs. We joke
Ooh.
about them so much.
Yeah, we
Poor
make fun of
guys.
them too.
we do.
Yeah.
But I think that even back in the 70s and 80s, that was still a joke, too. You know,
Gotta
that-
laugh at yourself.
Well, that returned missionaries were just looking to get married. I think the big difference is that we had an entire generation that we encouraged not to date before their missions. And so they're even more awkward now when they come home because they've never dated a girl, yet they've been told to marry one. And that's not funny, is it?
Just changing gears way too fast.
It might be
That's
funny if you want to
horrifying.
write a sketch on that. So
That would be funny. We did that one time. Remember that was?
we did
Yeah.
do that. So
It was very funny.
it was a great. I actually wrote that. Maybe
You
I
did.
should be in Divine Comedy.
I think could you push for Tom to be the non-paid person because
I
nobody's
could-
getting paid there.
I could
apparently.
write sketches, which would be fun.
Well,
You just have to be a student. So I think if you want to
So
like
if
try
I
to
could
get another degree,
enroll in a
yeah,
class.
Take
Yeah.
some more
Yeah.
classes. Go
Maybe I
to
could take the
auditions.
comedy writing
second
class.
PhD
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah.
I think it's a great suggestion.
I've been accused of being a copywriter anyway, so
That
or
you-
thinking
could you
I, or
copy
thinking
people's
I was
writing?
one. So
You
Now-
copy the writing of others? Is that?
yeah, it's advertising. It's just
oh, okay. Let's not go
PR
down that road.
professors.
Yeah.
So when Kim came in today, she told me that she was at a speed dating event.
Oh,
Yes,
And-
I still have my name
Is-
tag on.
is this part of your comedy research, or was this?
everything's comedy.
Yeah, I guess it is.
everything is really like. I say yes and to everything because it's just another opportunity for another story
Oh,
and an angle
That's
that I haven't
that's
experienced.
some
before.
really good advice right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I thought it would be cool that I'm going on this podcast, and I was invited to do this by my professor. He's running the study. I had some free time. I like meeting people. Thought, what
And
the
so
heck,
how
what's
was
the
it?
worst
How
that could
how was the
happen?
experience?
I still have like little circles from the electrodes.
So
Didn't
you got the
expect
yes
that
or
walking
if you get the
in.
yes or no questions right.
Yeah. It was cool. It was cool.
So
Nice
were the
talking to
electrodes
people,
to measure your responses, or was that to give you electrical shock therapy? Was
to measure the responses.
that's it. Well, that's better. I feel better about
Yeah,
it.
heart rate and whatever else you can measure
Oh,
with that.
Wow.
But they just weren't not my type.
No,
really.
so nobody
so-
got your heart going.
So
No.
how many speed dates did you go on in
Went
this
on
event?
10.
10.
Wow.
So you sat down and had a
Prolific dater.
conversation with 10 different people.
Hmm.
And you say that none of those really seemed to be it wasn't productive for you.
I mean, I think it's so fun to talk to new people,
Uh-huh.
but no one that I would be really interested in dating.
Did any of them try to ask you out?
They gave us an option where you could mark whether or not you wanted their contact information, and if both parties say yes, they'll send it.
Uh-huh.
So you don't know.
I don't know.
Because you said
Yeah.
no to
And
everyone.
she said no,
I think
no.
I said like maybe to 2 of them.
Oh.
So we'll see later
So
today.
you're telling me there's a chance.
Well, yeah. So what was the criteria? What made 2 of them maybes? What did they say or what did they do that brought them up on your scale from a no to a maybe?
What if they watch this?
What if they? Well, we're not using their names. Nobody else
That's
is going
fair.
to know.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
It's all anonymous.
They all think they could have been the maybe. All 10 of them. They think, well,
Or
I was
they're,
the
or
maybe.
they're hoping they're the
It's
maybe.
just a matter of having main character energy. If someone
Main
wants
character
to,
energy.
someone who takes their life to the fullest and says, "I want to go try that, and I want to participate in this and that," and
They're the star of their own movie.
yeah, just someone
Nice.
who wants to live life and is okay to share with that. So
Huh. So it wasn't necessarily based on looks or things like that. It was just
There
confidence.
was also looks.
Okay, good.
I get to be a little shallow.
Let's be
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fine.
say, let's be
Yeah,
honest.
that's fine. And I'm sure now all of those 10 that are listening to our podcast think, well, I was the good-looking maybe one that she. Yeah. And so, what was the reaction to among the other the people that were there? Was it comfortable? Did people enjoy doing this, or did it seem to be awkward?
It was awkward at first. They played smooth jazz while we were
Nice.
waiting.
Woo.
Yeah,
Setting the
very
mood.
So it was
interesting vibe.
like a
It felt
bar
like-
lounge feel there. Huh?
It felt like sitting in a very, very large elevator.
A little Kenny G going on.
Yeah,
in the
you're just
background,
sitting there like, okay, all right, when are the guys gonna come? And they came in. It was very relaxed and natural after that.
huh? Oh. Well, I'm glad
I
to hear that.
I knew
Very
quite
fun.
a few of the girls there already, so that was
What kind of
fun.
what was the class? I'm curious.
Taking canyoneering.
Canyoneering.
Yeah.
And so part of canyoneering is speed dating.
It's speed dating. I was kind of trying to
Apparently.
see the connection there.
I
right?
see the connection. You're never supposed to hike alone.
Putting your life in threatening and terrifying situations, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, that does describe dating here at BYU, doesn't
Well,
it?
canyoneering and dating.
Well, there's
It's-
that feeling when you're rappelling where you go just over the edge.
Right.
And it's the most scary thing in the
It
world.
is.
It's like asking a guy out, hey,
Yes.
wanna go bowling?
On belay.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, you just mentioned something interesting that I'd like to get your opinion on. Is where you said asking a guy out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that? And then how can we get more of the young women to do that?
I would say about 50% of the dates I go on, I ask.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I'd like to have a say in my own dating life.
Wow.
I
If
like
I
that.
wait
There's
for
some
Mr.
advice.
Perfect
the
to come
star of
along-
the star of her own movie.
I was gonna
She's
say.
she's that confident person. And
I think
no
that-
wonder all those guys
I
wanted
think
to.
all the women, young women that are listening to this show, need to take that quote and put it
Right.
up on their wall. I want to have control of my own dating life.
Wow.
That's
Wow,
fabulous.
that is. Yeah, that is good. And so, what success have you found or failure have you found with that? Has it been
With
productive?
asking?
Yes.
It's a very good thing.
So most
Good.
guys are open when you ask them out.
Yeah. I like to plan very fun dates. So
Ah,
Nice.
There's
Even
a little
if they don't
bias
like
there
me,
because she's
so-
good at it.
really.
Well, she would be great fun, so I'm sure
So,
there's...
so give me an example of a fun date that you would plan.
I did a Bob Ross night. That was really fun.
A Bob the painter,
Yeah.
Did it come with a wig? The curly...
Did you-
No.
Did you plant some trees over here?
Happy
painted
little
some
trees.
happy little trees
Yeah,
and
some
some
happy-
waterfalls.
yeah.
It was lovely. Some mountains.
That's fun.
I also took a guy to the Paleontology Museum,
Oh.
and we dug up fossils and put together a model. So that was kind of fun.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. So this fascination with paleontology, that's not, you say that in your bio, but actually that's just a...
Yeah, that's my
That's
actual
real
job.
stuff.
Oh, you actually work there.
Yeah.
You do that and you do comedy and you do theater and paleontology.
Yes.
All three go to, and
That's the-
canyoneering.
She's the
Yes.
triple threat.
And so the canyoneering I can see now with the paleontology, because you got to get in there and find those dinosaur bones in the canyons. Right?
So how do we convince
That's okay.
the other young women out there to start asking more boys on dates? Because I believe that the boys aren't asking the girls because they're too afraid, and the girls are sitting home alone doing nothing. How do we get them to ask the boys out?
I wouldn't know.
You would know.
She does it.
See, I'm talking to guys, not girls.
Well, what would you tell them to say, hey, just go and do this. Just go do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Jason, what would you tell them?
Yeah, he's the one who actually is married, so...
And you call that the success, then?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say that anything I've said today can be counted as fiction.
Ah.
So you're
because
not-
it's
So
clearly
you're
not
like,
worked.
you're basically like we are on this podcast. You're just making it up.
Making it up as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
worked for us, so I can't say it won't work for you.
Well, Jason, what advice do you have for these guys and girls out there?
Oh man, let's see. I do think that it's important to keep in mind that it's just dinner, like low pressure. I don't know if this is like the norm, but I've seen a lot of people get overly, I don't know, like just fixated too much on the pursuit. And I've had a lot more success in my dating life, not just like getting married, but just in general. Like when I've just tried to build friendships with like the people around me, and like not have this ulterior motive of like, oh, I need to go on dates with all these cute girls. Like still, like just be friends with them for the sake of like building good friendships.
Yeah,
and
just
then-
being friends.
And then you can like maybe go on some casual dates, like, and don't expect anything of it. When I was dating my now wife, we just went on a few dates, and she didn't want to like lead me on, but she wasn't interested, and so she started declining my dates, and she was like so worried about like I don't want to hurt his feelings or anything, and I'm over here like, oh, okay, I guess I won't go on more dates with her. I'll just ask someone else out. And like it wasn't a huge deal to me, and I know it's easier said than done, and I think I was just like in a good headspace. It's not like I'm not tooting my horn, it's just kind of my circumstances. I wasn't like upset by it. I was just trying to like meet people and have fun, and I think I was blessed to have like good friends that helped me not like assign my worth to how my dating life was going.
Right.
And then after a while, this girl that I was interested in realized that maybe she was interested in me too. So we went on more dates, and this one time it happened to work out for us, and we're married. But like, I don't know. I think a big part of it is if you do keep in mind, or just like take a more casual approach, and don't necessarily try hard to like pursue someone. Just try to build relationships
Well
and
said.
friendships, and then it helps like lower the stakes. And if something works out, then you can maybe start pursuing a little more
No,
my flowers.
And just to go along with that, we recently had a relationship therapist
Right.
on, and
He
he
was
said,
fascinating,
he
by the
said that idea of avoidance,
And he said we
and-
were brilliant.
and he did say that,
Uh-huh.
and he's a very
Let's
educated
get
person.
that guy back.
And but he talked about avoidance, and I think this is exactly what Jason said. Is it's like don't avoid the situation, because he said just keep asking people out, because it's just supposed to be fun.
Right.
You're just supposed to go out and have dinner and have a good time and get to know someone.
Right.
And the more you avoid it, the deeper in the hole you get. And so I love what he said, that he just kept, if you don't want to go out with me, fine. Just go out and find the next person or the next person. We'll just go and become friends.
We can still like have game nights at our apartment, and you're still invited.
Exactly.
No hard feelings.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, you still have a best friend.
Right, there you go.
Right.
Now focusing on comedy, in one of my classes we talk about the science of storytelling, and one of those is the natural process of the brain releasing hormones into our bloodstream based on content we receive. And so when we hear something funny, our brain releases endorphins into our bloodstream, and it gives us a feeling of euphoria and joy when people say something that's funny. And so most dating, I bet successful dating, is because you have that ability as being comedians to say funny things.
Success.
And well, do you find that because you are students of comedy, that it's so a lot of girls say, well, I liked him because he made me laugh. My wife.
Whoa!
Hang
on.
My wife says I married him because he made me laugh. And so do you find that being able to use comedy is something that's a benefit to you in your dating world? Or are you too shy to use comedy in dating? You only use it on the job.
I swear I never learned how to talk to people. I only learned how to flirt.
Oh. So what is the difference?
Just talking and making jokes is the same thing at this point. Unfortunately.
And so what is flirting then? If talking and making jokes are the same?
I mean, well, we were saying the people you go on dates with, sometimes it's just to become friends. So the way that I talk to friends and the way that I talk to someone I'm potentially interested, it's going to be the same way.
I love that.
I like that too. It's authentic.
It's really, really smart.
Yes, it is.
I think for, like Kim is just authentic and true to herself, and that involves comedy. I think there's a little caveat with that is like don't try to be funny to find a partner. Like, I was thinking about this earlier. I just that's just kind of how like Kim said, that's how I communicate with people. Is I like to I don't know, make people laugh and just spread joy that way, I guess. But there are other people that are like really interesting or really cool, and I love talking to them, and it's not based on comedy. And so I don't think that you should try to shoehorn comedy into your relationship necessarily, but I do think everybody's funny sometimes.
And I found out one of the most dangerous things is when you try to be funny and you're not funny. That can really backfire on you, as you know.
I wouldn't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never experienced that.
I mean, we've experienced that all the time at shows.
Yeah.
Like,
or you tell a joke and it just nothing out of it.
I mean, half of comedy is taking risks and failing.
Right.
Yeah.
Something I did want to bring up though is we've had cast members go on dates and people know that we're comedians and expect us to be funny and for us to tell jokes.
Right.
And sometimes that's just not what the relationship needs to be, and is kind of a detriment.
Yeah, it's so funny. I follow a lot of comedians, and they always say that they'll meet someone and they'll say, "Oh, you're a comedian. Tell me a joke." And they're like, they look at them like, that's not how it works. So,
well, and I think, like you said earlier, a lot of comedy is not necessarily telling jokes, but it's observing behavior and pointing out behavior in a funny way. That the way people behave is a lot of times funny, and that's not necessarily a joke, knock knock, or and so I think it's like you said, it's situational comedy that is usually the best, so that when you're with people, if it's natural to say something that's funny, it comes across as funny. If it's not natural, it doesn't come across.
I think a big thing, one reason I think maybe that people are like in a relationship, if someone is like drawn to you because of your humor, it's because you're authentically expressing yourself, not because you're making them laugh. Yeah. I have a friend who what doesn't consider themselves like funny, and I think that wouldn't be like a great word to describe them. They still say funny things sometimes, but I like them because of who they are, and so just like conversing with them and interacting with them is just such a joy, because I can interact with them, and it's not about being funny or not.
When you bring a good point there, the difficult thing is getting to know people so that you can know who they are. And that's kind of why we have this stigma in our culture, because for some reason it's very difficult to get to know people here in this community. And I think the thing that is the barrier to that is we put so much pressure that when you date someone for the first time, that this could be your potential eternal companion. And so there's so much pressure that's put on first dating that it makes it really difficult to actually get to know somebody.
And be authentic.
And authentic, because you're, how many times have we heard someone say, every time you look into a girl's eyes, you need to imagine that she could be your eternal companion. I mean, the pressure of the first date.
Say that?
See, now Kim, you didn't know that, did you?
No.
Every boy that looks at you.
Oh.
So every
I'm gonna
10
wear
guys
sunglasses now.
when you were on that dating thing, those 2 maybe guys would have been out like that if you'd have known this. So you need to talk to us before you do another speed dating.
Speed dating event. So.
And so you can easily understand why we have that culture, because it's almost the opposite of just comfortable conversation with people to get to know them.
And I think when it comes to that, comedy, people, I don't know, comedy is like a good way to help us all like lower our defenses a little bit. And so I think that's one reason it might be a little overrated, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're not selling comedy here very much. I thought you guys would be pushing.
I'm just saying comedy's not a silver bullet to dating. That's all I'm saying.
So I think what you're trying to do is you're discouraging all the other guys from being funny.
To try to
that
be
you can,
funny. So
you can have the corner on the market of
I
funny.
already got married. I'm not using it as a weapon. I'm not weaponizing comedy here.
Kim, do you like a funny guy?
Oh, yes.
Or do you like to be
absolutely.
the funny one in the relationship?
I like to make people laugh, but I also love when other people make me
Oh,
laugh
good.
too.
That's good.
Do you love it when people laugh at things you say?
Oh, absolutely. That makes my day.
Yes.
So hopefully I can find someone that I can riff off with. 'Cause if we can just talk back and forth for hours of just dumb, funny things.
Well, or someone who just laughs at all your jokes, because then you get the pleasure of making them laugh.
Yeah. But
Thank you.
there must
Thank
be
you.
give and take in a relationship.
Yeah. So true. So true.
Well, you guys, this has been really fun, and thank you for coming. This is Kim Willie. You've met her, right?
I've
and
met
Jason
Kim.
Mogul.
She's very funny.
These
Jason,
two are
they're
in
both
Divine
great.
Comedy.
And I'm going to go
And then,
next time they
are
have
you
it. So it's
guys-
only $5.
It is $5. And are you guys going to be doing this in the fall, both of you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so do you have a date for your next show that's coming up?
Yes. I might not pull it up before we end the show, but
Well,
it's
we'll wait.
generally the first or second weekend of the month.
The first or second weekend. So these are on Saturdays?
We do it
Friday
Friday
and
and
Saturday.
Saturday.
Friday and Saturday night. Same show both
Two different
nights?
shows.
We perform at 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So we have 2 shows
Seven-
both nights.
Two different shows.
2 different shows each night.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's great. And at the, tell me again.
The Tanner
location.
Building.
The
Is there
Tanner
a theater
Building.
in the Tanner Building?
Room 151 serves pretty well as a stage.
Yeah, we've been selling out lately a couple of shows.
I
each,
can see why.
Each cycle.
Yeah.
And that's been so fun because especially coming off of COVID, it's been hard to.
Yes,
hard to get
people
the
are
tickets.
looking to get out. So room 151 of the Tanner
And the
Building.
Tanner Building.
From 7
And,
o'clock there's a show, and 9 o'clock both on Friday night and Saturday night.
Having a guy text me about the podcast right now.
Oh, and you tell them
Oh.
it's going really well. They're both
Yes.
very funny.
Okay, I found the show
Here's-
dates. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So October 7th and 8th is our first show.
Oh.
And then on the 5th, there's a tech rehearsal. It's free.
No,
okay.
It's not as polished.
Wow.
October 5th.
Yeah.
See, these would be great dates.
These
They
would be.
are.
That's what I tell
these are
everyone who comes
great
by our
dates.
booth.
Yes.
There's no pressure, and then it I don't know, you're laughing, having a good time, and then you can talk about the show
Right.
afterwards, maybe
This
get
is-
some ice cream.
Well, and that's one of
I'm a
these
little
things
sad
where you
that I
should
can't
walk
take anyone
to
on a
because
date.
you're
Yes.
off campus.
Yes.
You walk to the Tanner Building. You have some, and then just like Jason said, you go grab an ice cream, or you,
Yeah.
you walk home and you get to talk. You talk about the show, and
So should we, I'm just throwing this out here, should we change the name of our podcast to It's Just Divine Comedy?
We might have to talk to our advisors about that.
Could you
and
talk to
get
them
more
about that and
involved.
get back to us on
Maybe,
that?
yeah.
Bring us on every week to talk.
And just promote all our shows. We'd love that,
Yeah,
honestly. That'd be
I
good.
like this.
So coming up in October, we have Divine Comedy, and I'd like to encourage all of you guys to go out and to
Bring a
say
date.
hello to Kim and to Jason.
Not during the
And-
show,
and
but say,
I think they
after
do
the show.
an autograph session afterwards.
No.
I won't
Yeah,
give
you
my
can come
number,
up and say
but
hi.
if you can find me.
If you can.
Oh, there's also September. Oh, no.
September is
September
before.
is
September's
the
auditions.
audition show.
Just follow us
Auditions.
on Instagram. All the dates will be
Yeah.
there.
There you
but
go.
it's-
Divine
how-
Comedy
where-
on Instagram.
Where do you just Divine Comedy on Instagram? That's how they find
BYU
it.
Divine Comedy.
And
Yeah.
and Kim, you were saying your number would be there on the Instagram page. Is that what you?
No, I think I have a distinctive enough look that people watching this show that are very
They'll
They will,
say,
they will
okay.
find
they
her.
will find
Yeah,
me.
come up after
I
the
like
show.
that girl with the short
Yeah.
hair.
You
Those-
can
Now,
talk to me
do you,
after the DC
do you do a
shows,
meet
too.
and greet after?
People flee.
They flee.
They run.
Well, we stick around on stage and
Yeah.
like our friends will come up and say hi, and sometimes some fans will too.
we
but
would. I love it when fans come down and talk.
Well,
to
you
us.
guys need to go down and talk to these
Right.
guys. So it's been great. Thank you for coming.
All right.
And you guys can not only follow BYU Divine Comedy on Instagram, you can also follow It's Just Dinner on
Wow.
Instagram. It's Just Dinner YSA. And then also, and Hunter's over there, who's now my big TikTok guy, right?
Yes.
So It's Just Dinner on
Here we go
TikTok.
again
We're doing some
with the
TikTok stuff.
TikTok thing.
So there's some of us here that are TikTok famous, and
Some of us
others
who
that
are
are
not.
not. So, and then also, if you want to send us an email, and we're still getting those funny date stories coming
Oh,
in.
yes.
It's just dinnerysa@gmail.com.
And we could maybe funnel over the funny date things to you folks, and then you could use them in your comedy.
We have a great
routines.
one about a farm and a
Frozen
dog.
dog.
So
It's hilarious. But
we'll tell you
but wait,
later.
come in October, folks.
We'll
and-
tell you
and
about that
hear
one
the,
later.
Hear the real comedians say.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for listening. And hey, you guys, just go have fun out there, would you?